Everybody, Dr. Bob Vaughn, your local health and wellness expert, and I am here today to talk to you about dairy. All right, so we've all been given a lot of information on dairy. It's good for you, it's bad for you, you should eat it, you shouldn't eat it. Famous athletes eat it, people who are high performers do, people who are low performers do. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so I'm here, I want to help you simplify it. Now, to start off, again, I want to say that I'm not telling you to eat it. I'm not telling you not to eat it. I'm giving you the information so you can make the best decision on if you believe that you should be consuming cow dairy, especially how we do it here in this country. So to start off, we want to just start with science, because that's where we should be basing all our decisions on, are the science of biology and physiology and how that applies to us, because the rules of biology and physiology, whether we like it or not, apply to everybody on this planet as long as you live on this planet. So first thing we want to think about is mammals. So humans, classification-wise, we are an animal species, and specifically we are a mammalian or a mammal animal species, okay? Now, I want you to think about any other mammal on the planet except for humans, and in the comments below, I want you to just name one other species that drinks milk after infancy in the wild. I'm not talking about what we do on zoos and farms. Other wild animals, other wild mammals that drink milk after they are not babies. So after they become able to consume whatever that animal normally eats. I'll give you a minute to think about it, but you're probably going to come up with 0. Okay. Next thing we want to look at from a scientific standpoint is mammals. I want you to think of mammals again, except for humans. I want you to think of another mammal that drinks the milk of a different mammal after infancy. So do you see tigers drinking zebra milk? Or do you see whales drinking dolphin milk? Yes, those are both mammals, even though they live in the ocean, right? Would you drink bat milk or cat milk or fox milk, right? Think about that for a second with it. So now that we have the science behind it, actual biology and physiology, a lot of times people will make the debate or the question, well, but we're smarter than they are, right? Because we're humans and we have a cortex and we can think all these different things, right? So I want you to name another wild animal species on the planet that is crippling itself with chronic illness, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, atherosclerosis, plaquing of the arteries, cancers. Name one other species on the planet that suffers from this in the wild, other than the fact that we polluted their or destroyed their environment. None of them. When's the last time you saw an otter swimming around saying, oh, I need a vacation. I just can't swim and look for fish and look adorable today. I just can't do it, right? You don't hear that from other animals. You hear that from the human animal. And the reason for that is we've used our cortexes because we're smart and we do things that are not intelligent. Now, what I'm saying is when we first came up with dairy and someone's like, hey, we live in a city, we need to get more food. You know what? That cow drinks that milk. That baby cow drinks that cow milk. Maybe I should drink that cow milk so I can get some extra food. That was kind of a survival thing. But if we're looking for ideal function and what our bodies actually require, dairy is not a requirement. I mean, animal husbandry has only been around for about 8,000 to 10,000 years. The human species has existed for over 40,000 years. So if we require dairy from a different animal in order to survive and be healthy, how did the human species evolve for 30,000 years without milk? Just simple questions, and these are based off to get you to think about it, right? Now, the other big issue we have that goes on with milk is how the milk is processed. So here in America, there's actually a lot of extra things added to milk. So we get a lot of sugar added to milk. There's a lot of extra hormones. A lot of times the pasteurizing process, which help clean up people who are trying to serve dirty milk, but it changes the protein structure and the fat structure when you introduce that type of heat to it. So the milk you drink from the store, the industrial milk we'll call it, is not the same as you get from the cow. It's different. There's more things added to it. It's been mutated. It's been poisoned with a lot of different things that will affect you. Another big myth we have with dairy, you have to consume dairy to get your calcium. We need my calcium, so I need to got milk or get my 3 servings of milk every day. Did you know that industrial milk comes from grain-fed cows actually doesn't have any calcium in it or vitamin D until they add it back in? They call it fortification because the cows ate grain and wheat instead of grass. So the process, the whole argument that you should drink milk to get calcium is false. We're supposed to get calcium from dark leafy green vegetables, and if you don't have those available, you're actually supposed to get your calcium from organ meats. Milk's also inflammatory a lot of times because it has a lot of sugar added to it to get people to consume it and to drink it. So we hear a lot of different things. I was actually talking to someone last weekend about dairy, and then they said, well, what about, and they named a couple famous athletes. They say they drink milk. So someone who's a high level, whether they're a swimmer or a CrossFit athlete or someone who's burning tens of thousands of calories a day requires fuel. They need fuel. You cannot consume 10,000 calories a day of fruits and vegetables. From a volume standpoint, you just can't get that much in, but they don't drink exclusively milk. Michael Phelps isn't the world's best swimmer because he eats McDonald's or Subway. He eats those, and he still happens to be one of the best swimmers because he practices hard and he trains and that type of stuff with it. So you can't find those exceptions with it when we're talking about the general population and we're looking at it from a biological standpoint. So when you're thinking about milk, I just want you to ask yourself those questions again, okay? Now, why do we drink milk as an adult human? Why would we drink milk of any kind, first of all, from a scientific standpoint? Also, why would we drink the milk from a different species? Now, if you're okay drinking milk from a cow, that's cool, but would you drink rat milk or cat milk or dog milk or bat milk or any other mammalian species milk with it? And you're probably going, ooh, that's gross. Well, then how is it any different drinking the milk from a cow other than how we've been kind of brainwashed and brought up to think that with it? So hopefully this stirs up some good conversation, gets you thinking about what you're putting into your body. If you have more questions, feel free to follow, like, comment. Be scientific and polite with your comments. We're not going to tolerate any vulgarity or anything like that with it. We can agree to disagree, and if you just like the taste of it or you just like cheese or ice cream, that's cool if you want to do that, but just don't try to make the argument that scientifically that you have to have milk in order to be a healthy person. So to close things out, we're going to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger, milk is for babies. You guys have a fantastic day. This is Dr. Bob Vaughn, your local health and wellness expert, and stay tuned for other videos.